Hello, friends. Good morning and Happy New Year to you. And today is 1st January 2022. So, I hope you are enjoying today's session. And please comment uh, what are the improvements you want in these video series of the Hindu newspaper reading. Actually, I have added 10 vocabularies to in today's session, so I will cover in last 5 minutes. So I hope I got a few suggestions from your sites. So if anyone wants any other thing, you can comment. Also, you can connect me on WhatsApp. And I want to say again, Happy New Year 2022. And I wish your dreams come true. So, without wasting time, let's start our session. First, top four news are tax officers detect irregularities in two Chinese phone firms. NIA files case against Sikh for Justice Operative Associates. Sri Lanka to sign pact with India to develop train Komoli oil tanks. Rahul named India skipper for ODI series in South Africa. So these news headings are not so important, I think. Okay, in brief news on left side, perfume war. Actually, we have already seen this tussle going on between Akhilesh Yadav and BJP government as perfume vendor uh, is rated by IT department and some amount approx 200 crore rupee is seized. And I think there is a connection there is a connection of that man with the political parties. I am not saying that, but let's discuss what is published on today's news. Okay. Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav on Friday accused the BJP government of roping in central agency HLH after IT raids on locations linked to Pushparaj Jain Pampi, a party MLC and perfume trader from Kannauj. Okay. Second, free Kalicharan Maharaj clear by Hindutva groups. We have already seen yesterday also. Members of right-wing groups of Friday took out a march seeking the release of Kalicharan Maharaj, who was arrested in Chhattisgarh for his derogatory remarks against Mahatma Gandhi and said Natharam Godse was their ideal. Okay, so important news is the orientation of crew in poor weather, likely cause of crash. Tri-service probe complete findings sent for legal review ahead of submission. Unraveling a helicopter crash, a tri-service injury has found that an IF helicopter that crashed in the Nilgiris on December 8, killing Chief of Defense Staff General Bipin Rawat, his wife Madhulika Rawat, and 12 others was on a controlled flight from a Terrian. Okay. The IF helicopter engulfed in fire after it crashed near Kunur. When a CFIT happens, a pilot is in full control of aircraft, but due to faulty situations awareness, the aircraft strikes the terrain. The helicopter actually are fully serviceable and the instruments are in order. The crash is likely due to the disorientation in poor weather. The ill-fated Mi-170-17V5 took off from Sulu Air Base at 11:48 a.m. Air traffic control lost contact with it around 12:08 p.m. And local people spotted a fire in the forest near Konur and rushed to the spot, observed the wreckage of the helicopter in flames. Okay. In detail, the Thai service inquiry ordered into the crash of an Indian Air Force the helicopter, which killed Chief of Defense Staff General Bipin Rawat and others, incomplete with officials indicating the probable cause to the controlled flight into Tarian. CFIT, the findings we have been sent for legal review, after which the report will be submitted to the Union Government. A defense officer said on a condition of anonymity, the findings have been sent for legal reading. It will take about 10 to 15 days for finalization, the official said on Friday. The officials in the know of the matter said CFIT was the most probable cause of the crash, and the inquiry reports once submitted would throw more light on it. The Mi-17V5 helicopter with General Rawat, his wife Madhulika Rawat, and 12 others, including his staff, the pilots and crew, was en route to the Defense Services Staff College of Wellington from Solo on December 8 when it crashed in the Nilgiri close to the destination. A tri-service inquiry was ordered by the IAF headed by Air Marshal Manvinder Singh, Air Office Commanding-in-Chief Training Command to investigate the crash. As part of the inquiry, the flight data recorded FDR as well as the cockpit voice recorder CVR were recovered and sent for analysis to reconstruct the last moments before the crash. CFIT means that the pilot is in control of the aircraft, but due to faulty situation awareness, the aircraft strikes the terrain. Explained Air Vice Marshal Manmohan Bahadur, retired, a former helicopter pilot, and example could be of an aircraft doing low flying over a large expanse of water and striking it due to the lack of depth perception. A similar strike could happen over snow. He said, elaborating on what CFIT means. Instruments in order. The ACFIT means the helicopter was fully serviceable and instruments are in order. A senior army pilot who had flown extensively in the mountains said the crash is likely due to loss of situational awareness and disorientation, which in most cases is due to poor weather, he noted. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) defines CFIT as an unintentional collision with terrain, the ground, a mountain, a body of water, or an obstacle while an aircraft is under positive control. Most often, the pilot or crew is unaware of the looming disaster until it is too late. The CFIT most commonly occurs in the approach or landing phase of flight, and FAA fact sheet stated. Okay. GST Council deferred tax rate increase on textiles. Gujarat, West Bengal, Delhi, Tamil Nadu had opposed the hike. The decision has come as a relief to the textile industry. Good news. Okay, because the government had uh, announced 2 or 4 days before that a tax tax slab on textile will increase from 5% to 12%. So I think they are not they have reversed their decision, and I think same tax rate will go on the textile industry. Okay, in detail we can read. Hours before the new GST rate has to take effect, the GST Council on Friday decided to temporarily roll back the increase in tax rate for the textiles sectors at an emergency meeting on Friday. The move follows demands from several states, including Gujarat, West Bengal, and Tamil Nadu. Finance Minister Sita Raman said it was a brief meeting with just one item on the agenda. The decision today was that we retain the status quo and not go to 12% from 5% in the case of textiles, Ms. Sitaraman said after the meeting. She said the trigger to review the decision announced in September was a December 29 letter from the Gujarat Finance Minister requesting reconsideration of the same. Representations were also received from other stakeholders, Mrs. Sitaraman said. Various states such as Gujarat, West Bengal, Delhi, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu had opposed the move to raise the goods and services tax GST rate on textile to 12% with effect from January 1, 2022. 12% for footwear. However, a similar demand for footwear was not considered, and sector will attract GST of 12% from January 1 irrespective of prices, while the industry is perplexed over the last minute holding off on the rate change. Mrs. Sitaraman indicated the final decision on the rate would rate would be taken a couple of months from now. Perplexed. Okay, I am giving the What is the meaning of perplexed? Do you know? You can tell me if I should cover some important meanings during the reading or not. Perplexed, that means not understanding something or confused. In हिंदी जैसे कोई बात समझ में ना आए, perplexed. Okay. Okay, another news. Delhi residents doctors call off strike. Resident doctor. This is a good news actually, because strike was going on in Delhi by doctors group, and for the delay in their counseling process. So I think it is calls off. In detail, resident doctors in Delhi who have been protesting over the delay in the national eligibility come entrance test postgraduate counseling for the last 14 days called off their strike on Friday. The doctors resumed service at 12 noon after receiving assurance from Delhi police that the FIA registered against them would be cancelled. In a statement, the Federation of Resident Doctors Association said Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandiva Mandavia had agreed to submit a report to the Supreme Court before January 6 and publish the NEET PG 2021 counseling schedule following the hearing. Okay. Omicron surge strategy at Central Genome Lab. Actually, this is a very serious news. Okay, we should focus on this. The surge in coronavirus cases appears to be stretching the capacity of the labs tasked with the sequencing virus genome. The Delhi-based National Centers for Disease Control (NCDC), a health minister Union Health Ministry Laboration and a key lab in India Genome Sequencing Network has asked states to temporarily pause sending COVID-19 positive samples to it. For the past year, labs have been sending the NCDC samples to check the presence of variants of concern, and since December Omicron, in a note sent on Thursday to labs of State Health Department seen by the Hindu and NCDC official says keeping in view the surge in cases and increased flow of samples for next generation sequencing to NCDC has resulted in a situation wherein the NCDC are not in a position to accommodate samples further for now. Okay, and this is another repeated news. FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Actually, I think if you are following this series, then you have already known um, what is the news going on FCRA, and what is the license, and what is going on. You should know this all in detail, because we are covering this news in a day-to-day basis. So today again I am covering this. Okay, FCRA license of NGOs extended by 3 months. The Union Home Ministry on Friday extended by another 3 months the validity of the license of FCRA registered NGO, which were not renewed by December 31. Good step by Modi government. The extension in public interest will, however, bring no relief to the mission, no relief to missionaries of charity MOC founded by Mother Teresa. Is the ministry said non-government organization whose request for renewal has turned down would not be eligible to receive or utilize the foreign contribution in their designated bank accounts. The Home Ministry had earlier said in a statement that it refused to renew the FCRO registration of the MOC on December 25 as some adverse inputs were noticed, adding that its registration was valid till October 31 and it was subsequently extended till 31st December along with that of other FCRA associations whose renewal applications are pending. According to returns filed by the MOC, the NGO has over 100 crore rupee in its account. A registration under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act (FCRA) is mandatory for any NGO or association to receive foreign funds, and it is renewed every 5 years. Okay, so we have covered first page of the Indo. So we are covering only headings of some important news, and then we will cover editorial page in detail. Okay. could take place to task overrides probe a look at some of the skating orders that grabbed eyeballs last year. Okay, dowry death settlement, no ground to quash FIR, Sage at sea, to help for woman's rape. Okay, a 21-year-old woman was allegedly gang raped by her employer and his two accomplices, including a minor at Vijay Vihar on Thursday. While two of them have been arrested, the minor has been detained. The woman in her complaint filed at the Vijay Vihar police station said that she worked as a domestic help at one Sumesh factory. On Thursday, she said her employer asked her to go out with him in his car for some work. Sumesh took her to a uh, secluded place where his accomplices were already present. They gang raped her and then threatened her with consequences if she disclosed it to anyone. A senior police officer said, very saddening news. Okay. Residents, doctor call off protest joint duty. Police to cancel FIN. 14 days work boycott at the hospital was to protest the delay in need PG counseling. Okay, we have already seen and in detail you can read this also. I think we have already seen, so I am not reading due to lack of time. Due to police uniform robe, Australian national arrested. Delhi records 1796 COVID-19 cases, no death. So this is a worrisome news. The capital reported 1796 new COVID-19 cases in the last for 24 hours, the highest in 7 months, as per a bulletin released by the Delhi government on Friday. This is a 36.7% increase from 1313 fresh cases recorded on Thursday. The test positive rate also went up to 2.44% from 1.73% a day before. However, judges have to save lives during Corona. Some and substance of Delhi High Court's ruling centered around no lives to be lost due to lack of oxygen. Okay, you can read this also in detail. Private buses hired to augment public transport to run till Jan and Minister. Man stabbed by to death. Why? A 32-year-old woman was stabbed to death by her husband in central Delhi Chandni Mahal on Friday. The police said, adding that the accused had been arrested. The police said that a PCR call was received in the afternoon, where in the caller said that her mother was lying dead in their house. On reaching the spot, they found Seema, mother of three daughters, lying in a pool of blood with slab wounds. Local inquiry revealed that the couple had been fighting since morning and the husband was absconding. Accused Abdul Rahman was found in Kamna market with his two daughters and wearing blood-stained clothes, the police said. Okay, no reason is mentioned why her husband killed her. Policeman hit by bikes died. Okay. It is a novel, States News. It is a novel about change, says Namita Gokhale, for the winner of this year's Sahitya Academy Award for her English novel, Things to Leave Behind. The honor is more than just a milestone. Voters wouldn't let outsiders use Goa as a lab. Welfare schemes for workers hanging fire survey portal rank among the gains of unorganized sector. RRTS could hit the track sooner than expected. Trial runs could begin by middle of 2022. Construction work in full swing in the Delhi Merit RRTS at Sarai Kale Khan in New Delhi on Friday. Sexual enhancement drugs wouldn't come under NDPS Act. BJP trying to strengthen party in eastern Rajasthan. Okay, okay. Sexual enhancement drugs containing herbs and medicines are not covered under the Narcotic Drug and Psychotropic Substances (NDPS) Act. The Supreme Court has observed in a recent order. The observation came in an appeal for bail by a man accused in a case involving the seizure of about 1,37,665 tablets of different types, collectively weighing approximately 90 kg from four locations in Chennai in 2019. The tablets were described as a psychotropic substance by the probe agency. However, forensic tests showed that a large number of tablets seized by the DRI admitted content herbs to enhance male potency. Okay. Caleb CM condemns Sangh Parivar for attack on Christmas. Okay, this is already the trending news, and we are seeing article. We are seeing an article on this on daily basis. It is costing them in Kerala because of the state's secular nature. This yeah. Manchi's remarks state the caste pot in Bihar. Coalition partners maintain silence. Belagavi school closed for conversion reopened. Congress secretary still Gherao Minister TPCC chief. Malayalam actor GP Pillai passes away. So as BJP losses in Bomij home turf, the ruling party lost to Congress in election to local bodies in Dharwad, Haveri districts. Okay. Governor's view puts Kerala government in dock. Chenni Thala seeks clarification on deal late denied to President Ram Nath Kovind. Ram Nath Kovind, our president. Maharashtra courts date with the virtual hearings. The bomb scares Sachin Vajay and Desmukh and Kanistan Swami dominated the news in 2021. We have already seen why. I'm not covering this. I think this is not so important. Six Mayosists arrested in Telangana. Status report on officer held in Sri Lanka submitted. Editorial. Okay. So let's start our editorial news in detail. One by one, we will cover all the editorial articles. So first, need-led provocation. India China must adhere to past agreements to keep the peace along the border. The Chinese government's announcement on December 30 that it had come up with its own names for 15 places in Arunachal Pradesh could not have come at a more precarious moment for an already strained relationship. The move is ostensibly aimed at standardizing how places in the Indian state are depicted in official Chinese maps, which show all of Arunachal as its South Tibet. India's Ministry of External Affairs MES said in a statement in response to the move that assigning invented names will not alter any facts on the ground and Arunachal status as an integral part of India. As the MEA noted, this is not the first time that Beijing has done so. In 2017, Chinese authorities issued official names for six places in Arunachal Pradesh. The first instance followed a visit by Dalai Lama to the state, which Beijing had protested. The list on this occasion is longer and not only includes 8 towns but also 4 mountains, 2 rivers, and a mountain pass. The list covers 11 out of original 25 districts, extended from Tabang in the west to Debang Valley in the north and Anjou in the east. The split of the location suggests the places were chosen to reiterate Chinese claims to the whole state. If the latest move is largely symbolic and will not, as the MEO observed, change facts on the ground, it needs to be seen against the backdrop of broader changes in the Chinese approach to the boundary dispute. The naming announcement was made ahead of a new border law coming into force on January 1, 2022. The law, which was proposed in March 2021 and calls for various Chinese government bodies to take steps to safeguard Chinese territory, was put forward a year into the crisis along the line of actual control. LIC New Delhi, which had expressed concern about the law, had seen it as an attempt to formalize the transgression made by the Chinese military since the summer of 2020 and put a stamp on Chinese unilateral measures to withdraw the LAC. The Chinese Foreign Ministry defended the latest move, saying that the matter was within Chinese sovereignty, yet Beijing had a very different view on India's own internal reorganization of Jammu and Kashmir in 2019, which elicited not only sharp statements from China but also led to Beijing's raising the matter at the United Nations Security Council. The announcement this week came as India and China remain engaged at both diplomatic and military levels to complete the stalled engagement process along the LAC. Restoring relations as well as the status quo along the border will require mutual sensitivity and an adherence to past agreement that helped to keep the peace rather than needless provocation that expand at already long list of differences. Okay, let's cover another news. Prepare for the worst. Policymakers must take the Omicron threat seriously and increase testing. So So please listen this article very carefully. It is useful for news or for enhancing your speaking and learning skills. The Omicron variant is galloping across the US and to many countries in Europe at a pace never since the pandemic. Never seen since the pandemic began. If the United States set a new record of fresh cases on a single day on December 27 with over 0.54 million cases, the 7-day average is at 2,40,400 cases a day, a 60% increase compared to the previous week. At least seven countries in Europe, Britain, Denmark, France, Greece, Italy, Portugal, and Spain, are witnessing a similar trend this week. The World Health Organization said the number of COVID-19 cases recorded globally shot up by 11% last week to December 22, 26 compared with the previous week, while the number of new deaths stayed nearly the same as the previous week, but globally the weekly new cases are close to put year to surpass the peak witnessed in the last week of April 2021. The sharp increase in daily cases is not surprising given the highly infectious nature of the Omicron variant. It is estimated that it spreads nearly three times faster than highly transmissible Delta variant. While Omicron has emerged as a dominant variant in a few countries, it has not completely displaced the Delta variant. The twin threats from the two variants are responsible for fresh cases reaching record numbers in many countries. The Omicron variant has a superior ability to cause breakthrough infection in fully vaccinated people and also cause reinfection in people who have been previously infected. Early data from South Africa and the United Kingdom suggest a reduced risk of severe disease requiring hospitalization, particularly among those fully vaccinated and previously infected. But it is still too early to draw conclusions as there is an inevitable lag between infection and hospitalization and the protection offered by vaccines against Omicron in older and other vulnerable population is still not clear. India has been witnessing a surge in cases in many states. As in the cases of the first two waves, the increase in cases is currently seen in large cities. To the total number of Omicron variant cases reported in India, each inching closer to 1,300 and has already been reported from 22 states. There is no reason to believe that the variant will behave differently in India. The highly transmissible nature of the variant and its ability to cause breakthrough infections and reinfections, and the fact that the people with no travel history or contact with international passengers have tested positive for the virus should alert policymakers to take the Omicron threat seriously. The first step in addressing this concern is to increase the daily testing numbers and adopt a dual RT-PCR testing strategy. Testing all positive samples with a kit containing the S gene target before sequencing for Omicron detection. India should not repeat the same mistakes committed during the second wave by allowing the virus to spread widely. So good. I think you have understood what this article want to convey. So without wasting our time, let's cover edit and data to the editor content. The Chinese move. The report China issued names for 15 places in Arunachal page 1 December 31 is outrageous and spotlight Chinese insatiable appeal to acquire by hook or by crook more territory from its smaller neighbors. What seems to have triggered China's unilateral claims on Arunachal Pradesh is apparently Vice President of India's visit to Arunachal Pradesh and India's procurement of S-400 to a multi-layered air defense system as China's expansion under its current leader is becoming bigger and bolder. It is time the rest of the world takes a step to halt this. China could be driving strength from its veto whitening wielding powers as a permanent member of the UNSC. The need therefore is to strive for the restructuring of the UNSC and make it more democratic indomitable print. Some say that this is a digital era with no place for print, but I differ with this. Thousands of books, papers, periodicals, and magazines are printed every day, and a huge army of impatient subscribers and readers wait for them. In Kerala, for instance, nearly a dozen newspapers are published daily and sold. Which one reads a digital form? You are just reading it, but when you are reading it in print, you are expecting it opaque page notebook legacy of the printed word December 31st. I don't think that the digital form can be a par with print experience. Okay. There is little doubt that the print publications in India will continue to flourish despite the invasion of online editors. Ardent readers in India will always prefer the print edition of newspaper for a variety of reasons. It is easy on the eye, very easily portable, has an ownership factor, and provides for more leisurely reading than online articles do. The feeling of a warm newspaper rights of the press is lovely, which an online edition obviously cannot provide. Also, print is everlasting and unchanging, unlike the online world in which articles seem to disappear. Online reading cannot be provide the kind of joy and refreshment that a reader derives while sipping his morning brew and browsing through a paper. Of course, there are many high technology alternatives to print, such e-readers, online books, and their audio visions. Thus, the value of the conventional printed books and newspaper has reduced a bit. As a reader of the Hindu for the past 2 years, I have derived great pleasure reading the newspaper in its physical form. Things did change a bit after the novel coronavirus pandemic and the associated fear of virus spread, but the contentment and the joy that one feels reading a hard copy cannot be matched by the online version. Holding a newspaper in one's hand and experiencing the freshness of its pages and then reading page after page with a tumbler of piping hot coffee is a matchless. The digitally advanced may prefer net news, but the technologically challenged like me always choose page over screen. The conventional way of reading a newspaper is better than an inventional way of reading it. It is sad that in this Google age, the joy of reading a newspaper is on the decline. For those who were introduced in the world of the newspaper from a young age, there is no greater pleasure than reading print. The draw of the printed word in the form of a physical newspaper remains unmatched, though it must be considered that this has begun to slowly vanish with the introduction of the digitized written word. The online subscriber may enjoy the advantage of getting instant news round the clock without waiting for the dawn of the next day, and there way no longer we need to physically preserve important articles and reports and not have the problem of accumulating paper. The greatest advantage of an online newspaper is that there are references to the previous reports on the same topic, but still print is print. There is no alternative to the printed word. In certain offices that I worked in Delhi, I had the opportunity and the pleasure of culling articles from various newspapers and pasting them on A4 sheets. Each old print may be pushed off the pedestal, but it is only for a while. Raid on Thursday. The unexpected and the increased heavy rain that battered Chennai on Thursday is a pointer that adverse weather events are increasing in frequency. No stone should be left unturned by policymakers to rebuild the city with climate resilient infrastructure. These must also be a zero tolerance policy toward the encroachment of water bodies. The growing vulnerability of our cities and the towns to climate change cannot be ignored. January 31st December, whether the explanation and the excuse is the entire meteorological paraphernalia, which includes the army of private bloggers and other elite freelancing weather forecast practitioners were watch caught unawares. Merely saying we warned you is not enough. A metro court in a weather even has a lot to lose. As Thursday event showed, victory in South Africa with its victory in the first freedom test against South Africa, Team India appears to be heading in the right direction of reaching the final frontier. The fabulous will assume significance considering the tendency of the team to capitulate in overseas condition. The memorable win will be remembered for the stellar performance of the pace bowling attack spearheaded by Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Sami, and Mohammad Siraj. Sport page 31st December. The win will also be boost to the new coach Rahul Dravid. Okay, so without wasting time, let's cover because it's already been delayed. Vaccine boosters and some hard talks. There are questions that need to be raised and the allegations that must be countered about the vaccine strategies. Wish I it were otherwise, but I wish it were otherwise, but we are starting the new year with the vaccine and boosters at the top of everyone's mind. So I hope you will forgive me if I write about this subject with boosters starting in a week's time. These are questions that need to be raised and allegations that must be countered. This is what I want to do today. Issue of the certificate, first a blunder that has mercifully been corrected, but the fact it was made raises the question: how carefully did the government think through its announcement about boosters after insisting on calling them precautionary? Why did it initially limit them to people over 60 who can provide comorbidity certificates from a doctor? It was inexplicable and contradictory, but also illogical. Let us leave aside the fact that being India, there would have been no dearth of false certificates if the government had no way of checking. It would have had to accept everyone, no doubt. This is why 3 days hour later it dropped the requirement. Now all you need is a doctor's advice. How will the government know you have taken it, and how will it fathom what the advice was? This is of course a face saver to wriggle out of the earlier stupidity, but it still leaves the government with the yoke all over its face. The government was simple before the government decided to complicate it. Comorbidities were not a condition for those over 60 years when jabs were first given. Why were they suddenly introduced at this stage? I doubt we will ever be told, but it is a question that calls for an answer. The one minute. The elderly are a priority in every country. That was also true of India when the first jabs were given, because age makes them vulnerable. The older you get, the more prone you are to illness. So the dosage of precaution, the precaution that is needed is to prevent the elderly falling sick. Covaxin's clearance, this seems to have finally dawned on it, but how is it that the government didn't realize it earlier? Someone somewhere didn't think this through. Even though the error has been corrected, it does not leave me with confidence in the government strategy. The other issue I want to raise is different. It is an unwarranted allegation made by the Chief Justice of India. He has claimed several multinational companies like Pfizer on one hand scores of people from within India, on the other hand made unfair attempts to defame Covaxin. They even complained to WHO and tried to store recognition to this made in India vaccine. P5 can defend itself, and I hope the World Health Organization WHO will issue a statement to clear the air. But I want to step in on the side of a lady widely considered India's top vaccine scientist. It was to me in an interview last January that she expressed her reservations about Covaxin's clearance in clinical trial mode. Professor Gagandeep Kang said without efficacy data, no vaccine should be cleared, and Covaxin clearance only on the basis of its phase 1 and 2 results was neither correct nor defensible. She also said she would not take Covaxin as a vaccine until its required efficacy data is made public. Actually, she had a lot more to say, but you can find that out for yourself by watching the interview. It was done on January 5, 2021. The Chief Justice of India did not name her, but Professor Kang is by far most the by far the most prominent scientist to have raised concerns about Covaxin's premature clearance. He had the courage to do so, and what he said was just scientifically in indisputable. She was not defaming Covaxin, but she was certainly and rightly drawing attention to its improper authorization. However, the Chief Justice of India went perilously further. All Telugu people must come forward to tell the world about the greatness of the Telugu company that made this vaccine. It was embracing to hear a Justice of India say that, but I would like to believe he knows he is irate and repents. I will say no more. Oh, well, I have not upset or depressed you. Happy New Year. Okay. So another article we are covering without wasting time. An unfortunate ideological shift in the judiciary. A recent speech by a judge of the Supreme Court had serious legal and political connotations. A speech by Justice S. Abdul Nazir of the Supreme Court of India, the Hindu 29 December 2021, has evoked vibrant discourse in legal and political cycles. The judge spoke in Hyderabad on the topic decolonization of the Indian legal system at the National Council meeting of the Akhil Bharatiya Adhivakta Parishad, which is a lawyers organization with express loyalty to the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP). He called for for Indianization of our legal system. He lamented about the continued neglect of the teachings of the great legal giants of ancient India, such as Manu, Kautilya, Yajnavalkya, etc. A link. This apathy has been against our national interest, said the judge, adding that the kingdoms of ancient India had a fine justice dispensation system. The judge underlined Cautil's theory about the duties of the king, which, according to him, is based on the great traditions established in the age of Ramayana. He implied that many ideas of modern methods of adjudication were prevalent in indigenous jurisprudence. While talking about the judicial corruption too, Justice Nazir had a point after quoting Brihaspati. He said that a corrupt judge, a false witness, and the murderer of a Brahmin were considered as criminals on a par with one another. Evidently, the Brahmins remained on a different pedestal even while addressing the culpability of the fact on selection of judges. He recalled the Vedic priest Katanya, who insisted that the king had to appoint only a Brahmin to act as a judge. It is equally curious that a Justice Najir has found glory in the uh, Arthashastra, which contemplates punishment for an official for personally talking with a woman employed during work hours. The speech by Justice Nazir has a certain distinct characteristics. It is nostalgic in tone and abstract in its concept. It lacked coherence in terms of a special legal situation. The speech contained generalizations without situational references. It didn't indicate a concrete and comprehensive legal system that is desirable or adaptable for the nation after independence. The basic issues with the speech, however, are twofold. First, it ignores the Constituent Assembly debates on designing the nation's legal landscape. Second, when religious revivalism is used as a political tool by the ruling dispensation, the legal revivalism expounded by the judge in generic terms can only subserve the regime's political and populist agenda. The SEA debates, the Constituent Assembly debates started on December 9, 1946 and were completed on November 26, 1949, on which day the Assembly approved the draft. Though the Government of India Act 1935 was a major source for the constitution script. The debates in the assembly and their outcome made it a unique socio-political document. The plea for Indianness was very prominent in the discourse. K. Han- K. Hanumanthiyasya, a member from Mysore on November 17, 1949, lamented he wanted the music of Veena or sitar, but here we have the music of an English band. Pandit Govind Malviya's suggestion was to start the preamble to the Constitution by the words by the grace of Parmeshwara, the Supreme Being, Lord of the Universe. Mahavir Tyagi on December 27, 1948 emphasized regaining spiritual freedom and not just political freedom. Loknath Mishra was an anxious about the contemplate annihilation of Hindu culture. December 6, 1948. On the other hand, H.V. Kamath warned that the history of Europe during the Middle Age was bloody and it showed the pernicious effect that flowed from the union of church and state. December 6, 1948. He said that if a state it identifies itself with any particular religion, there will be a rift within the state. This was in sharp contrast with what Loknath Mishra said on December 3, 1948. If you accept religion, you must accept Hinduism as it is practiced by an overwhelming majority of the people of India. These remarks and many others only epitomize the large volume of kaleidoscopic viewpoints that the assembly choose to deliberate on. The plea for Indianization was confronted not only with the values of Western liberal democracy but also with the finer parts of the Indian tradition, which were organically incorporated into the constitution. The second facet of Nazir's speech was has contemporary relevance, and to understand it, if we need to contextualize the opinion. The speech tries to create a narrative of a good old past without any convincing materials and is in support of it. This is totally in line with the right wing's political rhetoric, which relies on the unsubstantialized glories of the past. Justice Najib's remarks have come at a time when the regime is trying to subvert the constitution and the idea of the rule of law in multiple ways. At a time when even legislations are being used as a means to settle constitutional tenets such as secularism and federalism. The remarks of the Supreme Court judge against the alleged colonial nature of the legal system, which includes the nation's constitution, are deeply disturbing, matrix and descant. The country's democracy has stooped in a new law in recent times. It went down in the Freedom Index as well as Hunger Index on December 27, 2020. But the New York Times reported that India laws against religious convergence have been accompanied by mob violence. Hate speech has become a prominent mode of articulation in the country, which is abated by the selective invocation or non-invocation of the penal laws. When the constitution become the most effective tool against electoral autocracy, the speech by Justice Najib has had only an adverse impact on the movements thriving to restore the values of the constitution. It is significant that even while attacking the colonized legal systems, Justice Najib didn't find fault with the sedition law or such other draconian penal provisions, which are all colonial remnants. Legal scholars David Landau and Rosalind Dixon is a comprehensive study explained that across a range of countries, would-be authorization have fashioned courts into weapons for rather than against abusive constitutional change, abusive judicial review. Courts against democracy 2019, sorry. They have predominantly dealt with the process of adjudication, which in one way or another adds or abates a broader projects of democratic erosion against separation of powers. But the ideological change that occurs in the institution of judiciary and the person running it is another fundamental factor that determines the quality of in judiciary and polity. The quintessential relationship between the judicial ideology and the political ideology was explained by G.A.G. Griffith in his classic work, The Politics of the Judiciary, 1977. Remarks by the judges on and off the bench need to be analyzed by positioning them against political situations. Some comments by the judges could be an expression of sheer personal admiration for the Prime Minister as your carnival from Justice Arun Misra's speech in February 2020 when he described the Prime Minister as a versatile genius who thinks globally and acts locally. In February 2021, Justice Amar said, एक मिनट हाँ मैं अच्छा शाम को भी नहीं आएगा शाम को मिली शाम को मिली दोपहर को मिली तो क्या करना है बताओ तो मुझे फोन लगा है तो टिफिन वाला आई जैसे हम ना कोई तो टिफिन ले लो टिफिन आप दोनों टाइम बंद सही sorry for the delay. But these comments do not anger well for our democracy since these are not in tune with the constitutional scheme of the separation of powers and expected judicial behavior. Justice Najib's view indicate an unfortunate ideological shift in our judiciary. So we have covered the Hindu articles in detail, first page and some important news. So let's see what is in ground zero. Inside Kailash spiral of revenge politics to back-to-back killings of political rivals with communal overtones and in Ella Puja district have settled the peace. Sam Paul A reports on the murders of the two friends from rival organization and why both the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh and the Popular Front of India are speeding hatred against each other. Ella Puja. Okay, tax anomalies found in two Chinese phone firms. The manufacturers have not complied with regulatory mandate for disclosure of transactions with associated enterprise. GST Council defers tax rate increase on textile. We have already seen because of this statute Central Genome Lab 3 minute already seen. NIA register case against six for justice operative Germany-based men accused of reviving terrorism in Punjab. 3 minute and killed four Jawans injured in Srinagar encounter. Toll reaches 9 in 3 gun fights in the past 36 hours. Chinese embassy rise to group of MPs. Move comes after six of all party Indian Parliamentary Forum for Tibet attend a meeting in Delhi. RS annual productivity drops 59%. FCRA license on Geo extended by 3 months. Already seen. Rahul fires year and slopes at Modi government. He trains guns at on vaccine backlog border situation. CBI arrest NHI official. Five others in grift case. Region officer is a habitual offender. Okay. Perfume war on SP Slim's raid on MLC. Achilles is scared and Sakin overrates Sage Sitaram income tax research is done on actionable intelligence. Okay, year of the Mathura experiment, the BJP appears to be pitching Krishna Janmabhoomi as the next poll plank. Okay, and the two groups demand a rage of Kalicharan Maharaj condemning his arrest in Chhattisgarh. They held courts. The Lai Damaj guard in 1959 escaped and okay. New Amit Spec Center calls for more rats. States told to set up rapid antigen test (RAT) rapid antigen test booths at more locations for speedy detection of the virus. Winter of lively tourism warms Kashmir's cockles 2.5 lakh visitors in November and December set a record. Okay. Muslim boy move utilizers. Okay, we have already seen and Biden Putin trade winnings over Ukraine. US President warns of sanctions. Russian leader says such a move will rupture ties between the nations. Sri Lanka to ink pact with India to develop oil tanks. Leach agreement are expected to be signed soon. Okay, please go ahead. South Africa which says its Omicron wave has peaked. No surge in deaths, hospitalizations. Current accounts slips to deficit in quarter two, huge widening lies out with the largest merchandise trade deficit seen in October November. Core sectors output rose 3.1% in November. Crude and cement buck trend. Foreign owned assets in India rose by $37 billion in quarter two. RBI data Indian residents overseas financial assets rose $31.9 billion. Fiscal deficit narrowed in April November. CCI orders probe against Apple for unfair practice and no access to potential app distributors. Reliance Industry Limited RIL unit to buy UK's Faradion for €100 million. Okay, GST taxes sector seeks lasting solution to nickel. Deferment is a big relief to the industry. Life Insurance Corporation unveils digital John Tech Mahindra to buy LIS India Green Investments. Wheat exports jumped to 8.72 billion in April October. Bangladesh top destination ministry IRDAI tells Go Digit to pull out plan. David's overseas campaign as head coach begins on the right note. Okay, I think I already covered. So without wasting time, as I have promised you to provide you some vocabulary of today's editorial page. So I have noted down for you. So I am covering this without wasting our time. Hmm. First news, first, first starting is euphemism. First meaning is first word is euphemism, a mild or indirect expression substituted for an offensive or harsh one. Euphemism. Evacuate, you already know. To shift, so to shift people from a place of danger to a safer place. Evacuate खाली करना. Exonerate, free somebody from blame. किसी का मतलब और obligation. दैट मीन्स किसी को जनरेट कर देना, दैट मीन्स उस पर जो हमने कोई ब्लेम किया है, कुछ ऑब्लिगेशन या कुछ भी उस पर गलत कमेंट किया उसको वापस ले लेना। एक्जोनरेट, एक्सटेंट स्टिल एग्जिस्टिंग एंड नॉन एक्सटेंट एग्जिस्टिंग, you can note it down. Extempore impromptu, that means without preparation, if you are presenting something or giving a presentation or speech or presentation without previous preparation, extempore or impromptu. Enthrall, to be attractive towards something, enthralling. You are actually you are already seeing this in some ads also. Enthralls comes up. Eco in esoteric, which is known by a few person. Esoteric, that means कुछ रहस्यमय तरीके से कुछ भी रहस्यमय तरीके से जो कुछ ही लोगों को पता हो, सब कुछ ना पता हो, वो इन्फॉर्मेशन इजोटेरिक। इटाइमोलॉजी, वी आर ऑलरेडी सीन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ वर्ड्स, मतलब जो शब्दों का समूह, जो भी हिस्ट्री रहती है उनकी, इटाइमोलॉजी। पे एडल्ट फीमेल सी पे ई पे encyclopedia, books that gives information about every branch of knowledge. Encyclopedia is already a website also. Encyclopedia if I am covering, I am repeating again, euphemism, mild or indirect expression substituted for an offensive harsh one. Euphemism, evacuate, already known, to safety people from a place of danger to safer place. Exonerate, free from free somebody from a blame or obligation. Extend, still existing. Extempo, without preparation, giving a speech or presentation. And thrill, to be attractive towards something. Esoteric, that means it unknown, that means which is known by very few people, few person. Etymology, collection of words, history of words. Etymology, adults, female sheep. Encyclopedia, book that can give information about every branch of knowledge. So I think I have covered first page of the Hindu, some important news, and after that, in detail, we have covered uh, editorial page with all articles, and after that, we have covered vocabulary session also. So I think this is enough for today. So please like this video and share this channel as much as possible, and subscribe this channel also. If you have any doubt, please write it down in comment section, or you can write directly me to my WhatsApp number. And you have already seen, you can get my WhatsApp number through my Google Play Store application, like WhatsApp status saver or mail sender Vijay. You can type anything, you will get my name Vijay Uswa, and from there you can get my contact detail also from applications. And I have given my Android application link also in description. You can get from there also. So I think this is enough. I am binding today's session. We will meet on 2nd January. Okay, thank you. Happy New Year, and have a cheerful day. Thank you.